Hello and welcome to my first podcast. My name Max Röck, and this podcast is about my journey from mediocrity to mastery. You are listening to episode 9. Repeat, 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 and repeat it again. Knowing I may repeat myself here, it is important to me to say it again. If you have tuned in for the first time or haven't listened to any of the recent episodes, you want to know this. So repetition is important. My story will not be linear told on this podcast. I will jump back and forth in order to stick with one particular story and its learnings. In our busy lives, many things happen simultaneously. Therefore, it is important to reflect and learn from everything that happens for us in our lives. Looking back to my school years, my early teens, when the small or big, depends who you are talking to, rebel started to arise in me. And what happened in school if you haven't followed the teacher's guidance or rules? Well, in my school, you had to write parts of the school rules over several pages. And we always had to write the paragraph we haven't followed or we have broken over and over and over again. Our teacher in this way already started what is so important for true learning: repetition. But when looking into our today's school systems, we are told in subject once, and we are meant to know it already. When I was in school, mobile phones came out, and text messages have become huge. Texting our school buddies was what we have done all day long. This already distracted us enormously during our lectures. I cannot imagine how big the distraction must be nowadays, with all the smartphones around, all the social apps like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and many more. All the notifications coming up on our phone constantly, maybe even on our watches. I'm actually not sure if they're allowed in school now. Due to all those distractions in school, many things we haven't actually paid attention and listened to. Every day we hear so many things in our days. But are we listening to all of it? Are we paying attention to every single word? Of course not. I think we all have that one colleague or friend which we talk to and he or she does not react at first because he or she is so focused on their current task. And that focus is a great gift. And I wish I had it all the time. I personally have times where it becomes very, very hard for me to focus. And every single noise around me will get my head started on another thought. Currently, I'm listening to a specific podcast every single morning on the way to the office. Almost every single day it happens to me. I have to rewind multiple times because my mind wandered and I didn't listen anymore and missed a part of the podcast. So let's break that down. Due to those thoughts hikes, repetition is the key to learning. Imagine listening to an audio content, let's say a podcast. Should be quite easy to imagine because you're just listening to one. But let's be serious again. This might be a bit hard due to the missing illustrations, but let's do it anyway. I have it wrote out on a flip chart here, so if you're a more visual person, make sure you reach out to me and I'll explain it through a short call with a graph or sketch on a flip chart, so it might become easier to imagine for you as well. So imagine the audio of this podcast is a straight line. If you got a paper and a pen, that would make things even easier for you. So you make one line from the left side of your page to the right side of your page. This is the audio of this podcast, or it illustrates the audio of this podcast. So now, let's say half an inch above that line, slowly start drawing another line from left to right. But do this very, very slow. So it will take you a minute to get from left to right. So you're drawing from left to right very, very slow. Okay, stop now. And draw a small dot onto the spot you just stopped. And draw the line from there vertical upwards for around 2 inches before you continue to draw the line to the right again. Draw a little bit further, okay? Don't stop, a little further, and stop again. And draw the line down to the level where you started off. When your line is back level, continue to draw the line to the right. Very slow again. You can now repeat this until you reach the right side of your paper. It's no must, but it will make things much easier to understand what I'm pointing out here. Everything you draw, every time you draw a point and go upwards, it shows a thought hike. With thought hike, I mean a thought coming into your mind, because there's something I just said, a word, an idea, which brought up a thought in your mind, which distracted your focus away from the voice towards your thought. You may still hear my voice. You ain't listening actively anymore. Due to this thought hike, you haven't actively listened to my words until your thoughts came to a conclusion and your focus came back towards my voice. On the line, this is when your drawing is back level with the original line. So this phenomena happens to us over and over again when we listen to audio, when we listen to other people during presentation or simple conversations, while we read a book or newspaper, while we watch a movie, listen to a radio station, or perhaps an audiobook. This also is the reason that we can watch a movie over and over and over again, find new parts or monologues we have never heard before, although we may have watched the movie like Back to the Future 1,000 times. But more importantly, when we study a certain topic, read many, many books around the area of this topic, our mind will also wander. While reading, we may have seen the words in front of us, but we did not consciously take them in. Rereading, therefore, becomes such an important tool and will reveal areas of topics we may have never noticed before. Through repetition, we are able to manifest content in our minds. We learn information more thoroughly than only reading or listen to it once. We also find new insights we have never noticed before. In order to improve in anything, we have to do it over and over again. Nothing we only do once will ever do as good. We will ever do as good as we are capable of. This also brings me to the reason why I started this podcast in the first place. I wanted to inspire others to do what they are scared of. And for me, which may sound silly if you know me, but it was speaking in front of strangers and speaking about my past with them. Now I'm forcing myself to do this every single week. I'm telling you, it hasn't become easier yet. But one thing I know for certain, everything in my entire life I've ever done well, perhaps even very well, I have done over and over and over again for such long periods of time. And exactly the same will happen to speak in front of strangers or random people. And when it will take me to record that podcast episode for the rest of my life. But let's wrap it up here before I'm getting started on another random topic. If there's anything in your life you want to be capable of doing, or you want to become the go-to person because you know it inside out, do it. And do it over and over again. If that means you will have to run that 5K every day over and over to reach your goal, do it. Or work out every single day. And if it's only for 10 minutes, and cut those soda cans you have daily in order to get that shape you have always dreamed of. Or if it means meditating every single day, scheduling that time in order to become a more mindful person and live a less stressful life in the present, not in the past or the future. Anything you want to achieve and accomplish, you are already capable of. You only miss the necessary reps to build up your confidence in yourself and trust yourself that with small steps, with small daily steps, you can do it. And don't expect overnight success. And you will be surprised what you will gain after a couple of months putting in the reps. So thank you for listening. I'm your host, Max Röck. And until next time.